we're going to go ahead and go into abduction of the femurs to 45 degrees. From here, we want maximum extension of knees, dorsiflexion of ankles, inversion of ankles, medial rotation of femurs. So you're going to point your toes in toward the midline. We're going to maintain retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar spine, flat. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Steven here with Team Euphoric, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to be your own therapist by demonstrating the top 5 ELDOA exercises for posture correction, and more specifically, I'm going to be teaching you how to correct lumbar scoliosis. And before I get on with the exercises, I first want to do a quick recap of what exactly lumbar scoliosis is and why exactly you should care. And in order to do that, I'm going to need the help of my good friend, Johnny Bone. So Johnny, get over here and show your non-scoliotic spine to the camera. Scoliosis is when you develop a lateral flexion of the spine, and lumbar scoliosis is when you develop a lateral flexion of the lumbar spine. And there are many ways in which it can present, but the two most common ways are going to be a C-shaped curve and a reverse C-shaped curve. A C-shaped curve, as the name implies, is when the spine looks like a C from behind, which means the spine is going to be translated to the left. And then a reverse C, it's going to be the opposite. So it's going to look like a reverse C, which means the spine is going to be translated to the right. And with regard to scoliosis, you're going to have a convex side and a concave side to the scoliosis. The convex side is where the muscles are going to be lengthened and taut. Concave side, that's going to be where they're going to be shortened and tight. And with regard to scoliosis, when you are looking at a C-shaped curve, the convex side are going to be the muscles on the left, the concave side is going to be the one on the right, and with the reverse C, it's going to be the opposite. So with the reverse C, the muscles on the right are going to be the convex side, the muscles on the left are going to be the concave side. And if you don't address it, it can lead to a whole host of issues such as low back pain, hip pain, knee pain, ankle pain, and foot pain. So you would want to address it immediately. And one of the ways in which we could address it would be to do some strengthening exercises for the muscles that are responsible for laterally flexing the trunk, specifically on the convex side. We did those a couple days ago. I'm going to include a link right up over here to the top 5 strengthening exercises for posture correction to correct lumbar scoliosis. But in that video, we ended up covering the strengthening exercises for the longissimus muscle, the iliocostalis muscles of the transversal spinalis group, the psoas major, and the quadratus lumborum muscle. Once you've done those, a terrific complement to those exercises would be to do some myofascial stretching exercises for the muscles that are responsible for laterally flexing the trunk, specifically on the concave side. We did those a couple days ago as well. I'm going to include a link right up over here to the top 5 myofascial stretching exercises for posture correction to correct lumbar scoliosis, where we ended up doing the myofascial stretching for the longissimus muscle, iliocostalis, the transversal spinalis group, the psoas major, and the quadratus lumborum. Let's say you've done the strengthening exercises, you've done the myofascial stretching exercises, and you're still not seeing the results that you would like to see. A third problem that may arise is you may have some damage or compression to the nerve roots that are responsible for laterally flexing the trunk. So if you have any type of damage or compression to those nerve roots, then the muscles are not going to be able to get that proper signal from the nerves to fire properly, which means you're going to have a lot of issues. So one of the things that we can do would be to do some ELDOA exercises for the nerve roots at the areas that are responsible for lateral flexion of the trunk. When we're looking at the lateral flexors of the trunk, if we look at the longissimus muscle is innervated by the dorsal rami of the lower cervical, the thoracic, and the lumbar spinal nerves. Then the iliocostalis is also innervated by the dorsal rami of the lower cervical and thoracic, and this time it's going to be innervated by the upper lumbar spinal nerves. The transversal spinalis group, that is going to be innervated by the dorsal rami of the lower cervical and thoracic spinal nerves, and then the psoas major is going to be innervated by the lumbar plexus, more specifically your L1, L2, and L3 nerve roots, and then your quadratus lumborum muscle is going to be innervated by the lumbar plexus as well, more specifically your T12, L1, L2, and L3 nerve roots. So for today, I'm going to be taking you through the ELDOA exercises in that area, and the reason the ELDOAs are going to be so great is because the whole purpose of an ELDOA is to create space within a joint. So if we create space, we can improve the function of the nerve roots, and then the nerves are going to be able to send the proper signal to the muscles to fire properly, and that is going to increase and improve blood flow and oxygen to that area, which can decrease low back pain, hip pain, knee pain, ankle pain, and foot pain. So today, I'm going to be taking you through the L4, L5 ELDOA, L3, L4 ELDOA, L2, L3 ELDOA, L1, L2 ELDOA, and L5, S1 ELDOA. So without further ado, here are the top 5 ELDOA exercises for posture correction to correct lumbar scoliosis. The first ELDOA exercise for posture correction to correct lumbar scoliosis is going to be the L4, L5 ELDOA. For the L4, L5 ELDOA, we're going to be in a seated position, and we want our heels at the level of our ischial tuberosities. If you don't know where that is, make a fist. Roughly the width of one fist width is going to be the level of your ischial tuberosities. Then from here, we're going to flex the knees to 90 degrees. We want to go into dorsiflexion of ankles by pointing the toes toward our head, eversion of ankles by pointing the soles of our feet away from each other, and then we're going to push our knees down toward the ground. From here, we want to maintain retroversion of the pelvis. We got flat lumbar spine, flat thoracic, chin is tucked in, crown of the head is up, eyes are looking down at the floor to put the dura mater under tension with the arms, maximum extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation of shoulders, flex shoulders to the level of the coronal plane, so biceps in line with the ear. We're going up with the palms, up with the crown of the head, down with the knees, and this is the L4, L5 ELDOA. Next, the second ELDOA exercise for posture correction to correct lumbar scoliosis is going to be the L3, L4 ELDOA. For the L3, L4 ELDOA, we got our feet together, and for this one, we're going to flex our knees slightly less than we did for the L4, L5 ELDOA. Then, we're going to go into dorsiflexion of ankles, eversion of ankles, and we're going to press our knees down toward the ground, and we want our heels as close together so that they're not touching, so we want them nice and close. From here, retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar, flat thoracic, chin tucked in, crown of head up, eyes looking down at the floor to put the dura mater under tension with the arms, maximum extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation of shoulders, flex shoulders to the level of coronal plane, so biceps in line with the ear. We're pressing up with the palms, up with the crown of the head, down with the knees, and this is the L3, L4 ELDOA. Next, the third ELDOA exercise for posture correction to correct lumbar scoliosis is going to be the L2, L3 ELDOA. For the L2, L3 ELDOA, again, we're in a seated position, and for this one, we want straight legs. We're going to go ahead and go into abduction of the femurs to 45 degrees. From here, we want maximum extension of knees, dorsiflexion of ankles, inversion of ankles, medial rotation of femurs, so you're going to point your toes in toward the midline. We're going to maintain retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar spine, flat thoracic, our chin is tucked in, crown of the head is up, eyes are looking down at the floor to put the dura mater under tension with the arms, maximum extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation of shoulders, flex shoulders to the level of the coronal plane, so biceps in line with the ear. We're going up with the palms, up with the crown of the head, keeping those knees locked, and this is the L2, L3 ELDOA. Next, the fourth ELDOA exercise for posture correction to correct lumbar scoliosis is going to be the L1, L2 ELDOA. For the L1, L2 ELDOA, again, we're in a seated position, and again, we got straight legs. This time, we're going to go ahead and go into abduction of 20 degrees. We're, once again, maximum extension of knees. We got dorsiflexion of ankles, inversion of ankles, medial rotation of femurs. We got retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar spine, flat thoracic, our chin is tucked in, crown of the head is pushing up, eyes are looking down at the floor to put the dura mater under tension with the arms, maximum extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation of shoulders, flex shoulders to the level of coronal plane, so biceps are aligned with the ear. And for this one, we want to bring our arms into slightly less abduction by bringing them to the level of the glenohumeral angle. If you don't know where that is, depending on your morphology, it's going to be anywhere from 90 to 135 degrees. For the average person, when your arms are fully extended and the palms at the level of your forehead are slightly higher, that's going to be your glenohumeral angle. But we got flat lumbar, flat thoracic, chin tucked in, crown of the head up, eyes looking down at the floor to put the dura mater under tension. With the arms, we're pressing away at the level of the glenohumeral angle, going up with the crown of the head, and this is the L1, L2 ELDOA. Next, the fifth and final ELDOA exercise for posture correction to correct lumbar scoliosis is going to be the L5, S1 ELDOA. For the L5, S1 ELDOA, we're going to go ahead and get into a supine position, meaning you're laying down on your back and you want to get your butt right up against the wall. If you don't have a wall, you could use a plyo box or also use a partner to assist you. But from here, we want our heels at the level of the ischial tuberosity. So once again, make a fist width. That's going to be your ischial tuberosities. Maximum extension of knees, dorsiflexion of ankle by pointing the toes toward our head, inversion by pointing the soles toward inward. Then we're going to go into medial rotation of femur as much as we can without allowing the toes to touch. From this position, retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar, flat thoracic, chin is tucked in, crown of the head is pushing away, our eyes looking down between our thighs to put the dura mater under tension with the arms, maximum extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation of shoulders, flex shoulders to the level of coronal plane, so bring the arms down toward the floor without letting them touch the floor, and then everything is going in opposite directions. So we're gliding up the wall with the heel, down into the floor with the sacrum. We're pushing into the wall with the coccyx, away from the wall with the crown of the head and the palms. And this is the L5, S1 ELDOA. And there you have it. Those were the top 5 ELDOA exercises for posture correction to correct lumbar scoliosis. If you have lumbar scoliosis or if you have issues with regard to low back pain, hip pain, knee pain, ankle pain, or foot pain, go ahead and give those exercises a try. And then if you have given them a try, go ahead and drop your comments down in the comment section. Let me know what you guys thought. In terms of the actual programming for the routine, what you would want to do, first you're going to do the strengthening exercises. For the strengthening exercises, you want to do 3 sets of 50 repetitions, and that's 5-0, not 1-5. The reason we're going so high with the repetitions is because we're trying to elicit a postural change. Whenever we're trying to elicit a postural change, one of the most important things is going to be accumulating enough time under tension. And if we do the typical 8 to 12 bodybuilding repetition rep range, you're not going to be able to accumulate that time under tension. So 3 sets of 50 repetitions specifically on the convex side. And then on the concave side, because those muscles are shortened, we're not going to want to do quite as much work. We're still going to want to strengthen it because oftentimes those muscles are still going to be weak despite being very, very short. But what you would want to do is anywhere from 1 to 2 sets on the concave side. Depending on the severity of the scoliosis, if it's very, very mild, you can get away with only doing 2 sets on that side. And then if it's very, very severe, you wouldn't want to do quite as much work. So you're only going to do 1 set of 50 repetitions of the strengthening exercises. And then once you've done the strengthening exercises, then you would do the myofascial stretching exercises. For the myofascial stretching, it's going to be the opposite. We're going to do 3 sets of a 30-second hold, but this time the 3 sets is going to be on the concave side because we want to lengthen those. And then on the convex side, we still want to stretch them, but depending on the severity, we're not going to do as much work. If it's very, very mild, then we could do 2 sets of 30 seconds. And if it's very, very severe, we would only want to do 1 set of 30 seconds for the myofascial stretching on the convex side. But once again, we're going to want to do them every single day because the whole purpose when we're trying to correct a postural dysfunction is to accumulate enough time under tension. And if we're only doing these stretches once a week or once a month, we're not going to be able to accumulate that time under tension. So 3 sets of 30 seconds every single day on the concave side, and then on the convex side, 1 to 2 sets of 30 seconds every single day. And once you've done that, the last thing we're going to do is the ELDOA exercises. For the ELDOAs, what you want to do is 1 set of a 60-second hold for each of the ELDOA postures. And with regard to the ELDOAs, these are all done bilaterally, which means you're going to be doing 1 set. You're not doing right and left. You're just going to be doing 1 set of each of the different ELDOA exercises. And then that's pretty much it in terms of the actual programming. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask your questions down in the comment section, but that's pretty much it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to smash that like button so I know to keep making these types of videos in the future. And if you're either new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, as I will be uploading new videos every single day. That's it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you again tomorrow.